the crew was suggesting that this clip of Chris Pratt, the movie star and son-in-law of Arnold Schwarzenegger, on Bill Maher's podcast was perhaps even more apropos of the discussion here. Let's play cut 12, please.
In politics, you inherit enemies, and when you jump on the bandwagon with who is the most divisive president ever, it makes sense that you're going to be made to look terrible, and so I don't know what to believe, because it's not like I sit with Bobby and I go, so hey, let's talk about this. Let's talk about. It's like we're just playing cards or playing Mafia or having fun or having dinner. I'm not going to pick his brain to find out exactly which of those things are true. I just kind of assume that none of them are, and for the most part, I wish him well, man. I hope there's certain things that he oversees that seem to be supported in a bipartisan way, like getting terrible toxic stuff out of our kids' food. I think that's a great thing. And so, if you do that, that's amazing. I'd hate to be so mired in hatred for the president that any success from his administration is something I'd have an allergic reaction to. To be like, oh, well, if they do it, I don't want it to happen. I'll put Clorox in my children's cereal myself. It's like, come on, be reasonable here. There's certain things that would be a good thing to have. I want them all to be successful.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So he's, I think, pretty open about being conservative, but I think he's more informed by his Christianity than necessarily sort of deep political, I think, inclinations. But I think everyone knows that he's a guy who leans right and is maybe the biggest movie star, at least in terms of a box office draw, that still leans right and is fairly open about it. And it's interesting because he's not a hardcore guy, a bomb thrower, Chris Pratt. But you see that when you get friends like Robert Kennedy Jr., who gets brought into the administration, a former Democrat, a lifelong Democrat, and the whole thing that he talks about is trying to end chronic disease and trying to make Americans healthier and try to keep kids healthier and try to make it so that the government isn't conspiring to keep us sick, and that certain sectors of our economy are conspiring to keep us sick and not make us well. And he wants to investigate some of these areas that have had a wide berth and have not had really a lot of scrutiny from the top of our government because the government's been in on it. And you're thinking, no, that's terrible, even though the guy's a Democrat and a Kennedy, then it starts making you think about the entire apparatus as perhaps being bogus. And I think that's one thing that a lot of Americans are wisening up to, but it's why we need to keep amplifying voices like this, just people who are willing to say, do not get yourself bogged down into blind hatred. Think for yourself. Think outside the box. Question things. And if you're able to do that, then America's going to be a lot better place. Thanks, Chris Pratt. Nice stuff. Good call, guys.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.